We are continuing the paper 2, Wassce 2020 Core Mathematics paper 2, question 12a. In a diagram, O is the center of the circle ABC and angle BCA is 41 degrees. This angle. Find I angle BOA, II angle BAO. So to solve this question, we have so many ways. At least you can think of 3 ways to do this. I'm going to show a few of them. So for this particular diagram, we want to calculate angle BOA. Since this is the center, angle at center is twice angle at the edge. So this will be 2 times of this, which is 82. As simple as that. So it is 82 degrees. Then now that you know this an 82 degrees angle, you can divide this into 2 equal parts. So you can use that approach to get the second part, BAO. So this will be 49, 49. So that the 2 give you 98. And the 3 angles will give you 180. So this is what we are talking about. Angle BOA is equal to 2 times of BCA. So that will be 2 times 41, which is 82 degrees. Then you want to find angle BAO. We know it's supposed to be 49. If you don't want to go by this way, you can also go like this. You know that angle BAO, this angle plus angle CAO. So this angle here plus this angle should give you 90 degrees because this is a diameter. BC is a diameter. So the angle here will be 90. But we know one of them already to be 41 because this must be equal to this. This is an isosceles triangle. So we subtract 41 from both sides to get 49 degrees. If you don't want to do it that way, you know that this is 90 degrees already. This angle here is 90. So what you can do is you add this, and that will give you 90. And if you do that, you get angle CBO to be equal to 49 degrees. CBO. But base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal, so that will give you 49. We have different ways you can go about it. Now let's look at the question B, 12b. The angle of depression of a point P on the ground from the top T of a building is 23.6 degrees. If the horizontal distance from P to the base of the building is 50 meters, calculate correct to 3 significant figures the height of the building. So we need to draw the diagram. Let this be the building, and we're given angle of depression. So it means that the top of the building is here and the point is here. So the angle of depression is this angle over here, this angle. So that will be the 23.6 degrees. So by the alternate angle property, the interior angle the alternate interior angle property, we'll get this. So like we were saying, this is the point and this is the top of the building. So using trigonometry, we can find the height. So let the height be h. This height is h. So you can use the trig ratio tan 32.6 opposite over adjacent. So opposite is h. Opposite is h and the adjacent is 50 meters. So h will be equal to 50 times 23.6, and that will give you 21.844. And we are supposed to do it to 3 significant figures, and that will be 21.8 meters. Step C, part C. The part C of this question: a cow is tied to a post at the center of a square grazing field of side 25 meters by a rope 10 meters long. Find correct to 2 decimal places the percentage of the field the cow is able to graze on. So let's say this is the field, the square field, and we know the rope tied to the goat is this, and we're told that it is 10 meters. And also the goat can graze in a circular shape like this. So you need to find the area of the circle. You need to find the area of the circle with radius 10 meters, which is given by pi r square. Then we're given the pi to be 22/7, then times the radius, which is 10 squared, and that will give you 314.286. We need to also find the area of the square, which is 25 squared, and that will give you 625. So the percentage of the field that a cow can graze on is given by the area of the circle over the area of square times 100%, and that will give you 50.286. And we are supposed to correct it to 2 decimal places, so that will be 50.29 degrees, 50.29%. The question 13 is here. So we're told that given that f is defined by the function f is such that x maps onto x plus 3 and g is such that x maps onto x squared, you're supposed to evaluate g of f of x and evaluate g of f of 2. So you know f of 2, if you put 2 here you get 3, so put 3 plus 2, that will give you 5. 5 squared will be 25. That will be the I part. So for the I part, we just plug in the function, which is put f of x inside g of x. So wherever you see x, you put x plus 3. So x plus 3 squared will be the same as x plus 3 plus x plus 3, and when we expand we get x squared plus 6x plus 9. So this is not the only way you can do it, you have other options. So the second part, you can also plug in 2 here, so 2 squared plus 12, that will be 16 plus 9, which is 25. Then the B aspect of question 13, we are supposed to find the values of x that will make this equation undefined. So we know this is undefined when the denominator is equal to 0. So the function, even though it is made up of individual functions, each of them must be defined. So the function is not defined when x equal to 0 and when x plus 2 is equal to 0. So the answer is x equals 0 and x equals negative 2. These are the values for which the function is undefined. Then look at another way that you can do it. You can also simplify the function. Then you can see clearly that the denominator must not be equal to 0. So the function is defined when x into x plus 2 is equal to 0, and that will be x equals 0 or x equals negative 2. Given that f of x is equal to k over x plus 1 plus 6 over x plus 2, and f of 5 is equal to 8, find the value of k. So this is just simplification or substitution. So we substitute 5 for x and we get this expression in terms of k. We simplify. 5 plus 1 will be 6, 5 plus 2 will be 7. So we can multiply through by the LCM, and we cancel out to get 7k plus 36 is equal to 336. So subtract 36 from both sides. Then you have 7k equal to 300. Divide both sides by 7. You get k is equal to 300 over 7, or 42 whole number, 6 over 7. 2 points x and y 7 meters apart are on the same horizontal ground. The angles of elevation of a point P from x and y are 50 degrees and 70 degrees respectively. Q is a point on xy produced such that angle YQP is equal to 90 degrees. So we are supposed to illustrate the information in a diagram. So you need to be very careful because you are not told whether the point is on both sides or on the same side, but from the question you can distinguish which of them is given. So from the question we're told that Q is a point on XY, then the keyword is this, produced, such that, so XY is produced, meaning that Q can never be between X and Y. Q is a point on XY produced. So if this is X and this is Y, so this is XY. So when I ask you to produce XY, you're either going in this direction or that direction. So but it stated that XY produce, so the direction is clear, it's in this direction, so in the XY direction, meaning that our diagram will look like this. So this is XY produce, you produce XY to get the Q. So Q cannot be the other side of X, Q can only be at this side and cannot be between X and Y, hence the question is specific. So this is a diagram, and we know the angles are this. 70 degrees must be closer and 50 degrees must be further, because the closer you are, the larger the angle of elevation. Now, so we are done with the first part of the question. Then the second part, calculate correct to 2 decimal places the length XP, then YQ. So let's see. You know, PQ is constant, so we can use it to find this distance. which is the second one, YQ. So let's go. We know tan 70 will be equal to x over QP over y. Tan 70 will be QP over x. So it means that QP is x tan 70 degrees. Then also tan 50 will be equal to opposite, which is QP over x plus 7 meters. So it means that QP is equal to tan 50 x plus 7. Since QP is constant, we can equate the two equations, this and this, and that will give us this expression. Let's expand to get something like this, and we can group the variable terms. So we do that and factor the x out. So we solve for x to get 7 tan 50 degrees over tan 70 minus tan 50, and that will give you YQ, because x is equal to YQ, which is 5.36 meters. So we are supposed to correct it to 2 decimal places. So work at 3 decimal places first, and 3 decimal places will give you 5.362. Then you correct it to 2 decimal places, which is 5.36. Now we are done with the second part. What about the first part? So for the first part, we have this diagram again, and we found x to be 5.32. So we can use the cosine ratio. XP is the hypotenuse, the bigger hypotenuse. So cos 50 degrees will be equal to adjacent, which is from this side to this side, 7 plus 5.32 over XP, which is the hypotenuse. So that will give us this 12.362 over XP, and swap XP and cos 50, and that will give you 19.232 meters. So we are supposed to do it to 2 decimal point, the 2 decimal places. So that will give you 19.23 meters. So this is how it's supposed to be. Q cannot be between x and y because of the expression here, xy produced. Now let's move on to this. We are solving this equation. 3x, solve the equation 3x over 1 minus x plus 2x over x plus 1 is equal to 2. So we find the LCM, which is 1 minus x, then x plus 1. So multiply through, then you cancel out. This will cancel this, then this will cancel this. Then we can now get this expression. Now the next thing we do is to expand. So when we expand, we get 3x squared plus 3x, then we have 2x minus 2x squared. Then we have, this time I factored -1 out of this. I will get x minus 1, x plus 1, which is like a difference of 2 squared, which is x squared minus 1. Then you expand to get -2x squared plus 2. So this will get rid of this. Then the next thing we do now is to group like terms and write in standard quadratic form to get 3x squared plus 5x minus 2, which is equal to 0. And this will mean that we need to split the middle term. When you multiply 3 by -2, you get -6. So 2 factors of -6, that if you add you get 5, and if you multiply you get -6, is -1 and 6. So that's how we got this splitting over here. Then the next thing we do is to factor. So you factor, when you factor 3x out, you're going to get x plus 2. Then you factor -1 out, you get x plus 2. So that will give you 3x minus 1 into x plus 2. So I skipped one step here. Then the next thing we do, to use the zero product property, either this is equal to 0 or this equals 0, and that will give you x equal negative 2 or 1 over 3. Okay, this is question 11C. I forgot to do it in the other video, so I'm adding it to this question 11C. The ratio of the cost of materials and labor in the production of an article is 5:7:13 respectively. If the cost of material is 840 more than that of labor, find the total cost of producing the article. So, if you analyze the question carefully, it said the cost of material is to that of labor is in the ratio 7:13. So that means that there's no way the cost of material will be greater than the cost of labor. So the cost of material is 840 more than that of labor, which is not true. So let's assume that this question is correct. Then we'll proceed like this. The ratio is profit is to material is to labor. That is 5:7:13. So let the cost of producing the article be x. Then the cost of material will be 7/25 times x. But the total ratio is 25. Then the cost of labor will be 13/25. So because they said labor is more than, they said the cost of material is more than, it is 840 more than, meaning that you need to add 840 to the cost of labor in order to equate the cost of materials. Now this is a linear equation that we can solve to get something like this, and you are going to get a negative result. So this rate should have been less. If it were less, then you have gotten a positive result. So that is it. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll be uploading the rest of the video very soon, so subscribe now and also share with your colleagues. Now if you can still see this red thing here, it means you have not yet subscribed. So you just have to click it so that the next upload, see it is still red, you have to click it so that if I upload the next video, you'll be informed. Click the bell icon too so that you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.